The Eyes of Love, Part 3. There was silence for a long moment, heavy as the night itself. Jamila stood frozen, staring at Jamilu, her Jamilu, groping slightly, his blind eyes searching for her presence. Then Jamilu broke the silence again. "Now that you have eyes, will you marry me?" Jamila's lips parted, but no words came. Her heart pounded, torn between gratitude, shock, and shame. Instead, she turned quietly and walked back inside the house, leaving Jamilu standing alone in front of the house. "Jamila!" he called again and again, his voice rising with disbelief and desperation. "Jamila, talk to me. Are you there?" But she did not return. Jamilu turned, broken, ready to walk away into the night. Her voice pierced him like a dagger from behind. "Why didn't you tell me you were blind too? I won't marry a blind man." Jamilu stopped, his body stiff, the words slicing through his soul. For a few seconds he stood still, the weight of betrayal pressing upon him. Then, without a word, he continued walking, each step echoing like thunder in the silence of the village night. Jamila closed her door and went back inside, her face void of expression, her heart hardened against what she had just done. She did not think twice about it. By morning, the village was alive with whispers. Words spread like wildfire. Jamila had turned her back on Jamilu, the very man who had loved her through her blindness. People gathered in corners, shaking their heads in disappointment. Elders sighed, questioning how a heart could change so quickly, and a darker question rose among them. How did Jamilu even become blind overnight? Jamila's mother confronted her. "Jamila," she asked with tears and anger mixed in her voice, "why would you do such a thing? Why would you shame the one who carried your burden, who loved you even in darkness?" But Jamila did not care. She brushed off the questions and chose instead to drown herself in her newfound freedom. She roamed the stream banks where Jamilu once described the water's sparkle, now seeing it with her own eyes. She climbed the rocks where his hand once guided hers, feeling pride that she no longer needed him to tell her how they looked. One day, unable to silence her curiosity, she returned to the Dibia. Standing before him, she asked boldly, "Tell me where you got me these eyes. Who gave me this gift?" The Dibia looked at her, his face grave and unreadable. Slowly, he shook his head. "I cannot tell you. I swore a covenant with the giver. Only he can reveal himself to you. Not I, not anyone." His refusal unsettled her. For the first time since her miracle, unease rippled through her heart. Weeks passed. The joy of Jamila's new sight was still the talk of the village, but the silence between her and Jamilu hung like a curse. One lovely morning, Jamilu found the courage to go once more to her house. He stood outside, calling softly, "Jamila, it is me." But she refused to come out. Instead, she sent a little boy with a message. "Tell him to go, I don't want to see him." Jamilu's shoulders sank. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a folded piece of paper, and pressed it into the child's hands. "Give this to her," he said before turning away. The little boy carried it inside. Jamila took the paper, stared at it for a while, then sighed. She could not read. With impatience, she sent the boy to fetch their neighbor, Aisha. When Aisha arrived, she unfolded the letter and began to read aloud. "From Jamilu. Take care of my eyes, please. My friend warned me not to love you this much. My parents warned me not to make such a sacrifice for you. They all warned me that you would betray me. But I was too blinded to see what they saw. Now that you have my eyes, take care of my eyes, please." The room fell silent. Aisha's voice cracked as tears spilled down her cheeks. She dropped the paper on the floor, spat in Jamila's direction, and stormed out without another word. The news of the letter also spread quickly through the village, like fire in dry grass. Soon everyone knew the truth. Jamilu had given his very eyes for the woman he loved, only to be casted aside by her once she could see. The people's admiration for Jamila turned to disgust. Where once they had celebrated her miracle, now they whispered and pointed, calling her ungrateful, heartless, cursed. Even her own family were angry with her. Shamed and broken, Jamilu quietly left the village walking with a stick, his steps slow, his figure fading into the horizon. And Jamila? She lived the rest of her days surrounded not by love, but by the bitter hatred of her people and the emptiness of her own choices. She had prayed for eyes, and she had been given them, but in gaining her sight, she had lost everything. The end. Join us next Sunday for new and entertaining tale. Don't miss it. Subscribe to Baobab Flicks.